he's a very consummate fighter. And I always had a great deal of respect for Lennox. Me and Lennox have been friends, ironically, since we were both 15 and 16 years old. I've known Lennox before anybody in boxing known Lennox. This guy there's no way I could ever be. He's just too big and too strong.
And in 1984, they met for the first time. In the Catskills, a skinny beanpole Lennox Lewis shared a ring with a short, stocky Mike Tyson.
We sparred, and when we were kids, we became very good friends.
Lennox and he got along very well. They ran together and so on.
Brought me up to this room and put the sheet up. He was explaining about all these different boxers, and he was really educational for me.
How long into the week did you guys spar?
First day, right? The second day. Second day we sparred, and that was an eye-opening for me.
When the bell rang for the first round, everything changed.
This guy was, Mike Tyson came across the ring and he was trying to hit me, and he was actually hitting me, and I was like, wow, this was almost like a fight. My trainer said, yeah, well, you're coming to this guy's house. He's showing you that, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. So I understood that very, very early in my career.
He came to the corner and I cleaned him up and I said, look, we don't have to do this today. I said, we can leave it go for a few days, or if you want, we can go home. He said, oh no, I know what to do now.
And he came back in the ring and he tried to kill me.
So from there on, Lennox started to use his ability and his brains, and eventually got to handle Mike pretty easily.
Tyson's mentor, Customato, believed then the pair would one day meet again.
And they cut it. You two are going to fight for the championship one day. He said one day, you are fighting one day for the title. And we just kids, but we both knew we were going to be champions. That's what our goal. That's all we ever talked about. Even when we were at the house. Hey man, what about this guy? He said, what about that guy? He said, yeah, I'm going to fight that guy. That guy's tough. I said, hey, what about Willie DeWitt? You ever spar with him or work with him? I think you did work with him or something back then. And we just really enthusiastic about our life. In our mind, we were champions before we became champions. When we lost in '84 in Los Angeles, you remember when we lost, we were just walking around like two schmucks. God damn, we just walking around. Lennox is real tall. He's 6'5", and he's probably 16. And remember when you were dancing, like how you dance? Like, how are you like a American?
Mike Tyson grew up in Brooklyn, New York, hanging out with his homeboys. It was tough ghetto living, getting into some petty crime which led to a stint at reform school. But Tyson's bad luck was about to change. A warder introduced Mike to legendary boxing manager Customato, who immediately saw the potential of his new raw recruit. He adopted Mike and took him out of the ghetto to his country boxing stable. It was the closest Tyson ever came to having a normal family, born in the East End of London. Like Tyson, Lennox didn't really know his dad. Violet struggled to make ends meet. She moved to Canada in search of golden pavements, leaving her two sons behind in London with family. Lennox got a reputation as a rowdy, rebellious boy, and he got expelled from primary school in East Ham. Lewis ended up in a couple of council-run boarding schools for difficult kids, but after a few years getting settled, his mum brought 12-year-old Lennox out to Ontario.
I suggested that maybe he should give some thought to joining the Kitchener Police boys boxing club.
The experience would transform him, but it wasn't the boxing. That day he met the man who would become the greatest influence of his life.
I first met Lennox about 25 years ago. He came into the gym with a couple of buddies to learn how to fight. So I basically told him that if he came to learn how to fight, get out of my gym and don't come back. But if you want to be a boxer, you came to the right place.
I guess I appeared to be a father figure that he wanted.
Arnie Beam would start Lennox down the path to glory. Boxing had given Lennox a brand new identity. In 1986, with Arnie at his side, Lennox won gold at the prestigious Commonwealth Games in Great Britain. Lennox sought out his biological father and met him on the streets of London.
We spoke for a little while. I said, well, what was it like, Lennox? What was what like? I said, well, you haven't seen your father in 10 years. There had to be some kind of a reaction. Arnie, that man could never be the father to me that you have been. That brought tears to my eyes,
The two boys born on the wrong side of the street have come a long way since their sparring days. Lewis and Tyson may both be products of the mean streets, but although their youths were lived in similar circumstance, they've taken very different routes to get to their bout in Memphis.
In 1996, Iron Mike was fresh out of prison. He crushed Frank Bruno for the WBC belt. The new British Hope was next in line.
Mike Tyson refused to fight Lennox Lewis, much like Riddick Bowe.
Don King negotiated a deal to prevent a title bout between Tyson and Lewis. The WBC ordered Tyson to give up his belt and pay Lewis $4 million.
If I would have retired without boxing Mike Tyson, it would have been a situation where everybody was saying, well, Mike Tyson's best, you never boxed him.
Do you think the result could have been different, would have been different if they'd have met at a different period of their careers?
No, I don't.
Why?
I just believe Lennox got the tools that no matter what Mike would have did, it wouldn't help them.
Mike, are you sorry this fight didn't take place years ago?
It wasn't meant to be. I've known Lennox ever since he was 16, 15 years old. I have mad respect. We've always been friends. He knew me ever since his friend Bernie and Cus were together.
Now they get together again as professionals, as Tyson's late trainer Customato had predicted them would. And here we go.
Here was Lennox, who basically had now beaten Evander, Riddick Bowe in the amateurs, and now Tyson. This would be a clean sweep if he made it, and be, I think, a defining piece of history in his legacy.
I know he's going to come at me, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to give up my ground.
The Hulk and the Rocket, boom.
In my mind, that's the ego aspect of it.
He has fought a wonderful fight.
He'd beaten everyone of this era but Mike Tyson. Remember, in '88 when Lennox, both Mike Tyson and Lennox were in '84 amateur program. And so Lennox stayed another 4 more years. So when he wins the gold medal in the Olympics in '88, Mike Tyson is like the god. He's on top of the world. So when he turned professional, it was always Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson. Even with the losses, Mike Tyson still is still Mike Tyson.
You know, I just wanted to show him that I wasn't scared of him. He was trying to intimidate me and trying go for the early knockout. I just wanted to go in there and hit him first.
So Lennox wanted this so badly, and I explained to him, this is like Hearns and Leonard. Whatever happens in this fight, you're going to live with the rest of your life. All of the rest of the victories and losses don't mean anything. Your legacy will pretty much be defined by this fight here.
There's no one in the world can take that from Lennox Lewis now. There's no doubt the best heavyweight of all time. What he's done clearly puts him on top of the heap.